Hello.
Hello.
All right, here we are. Finally, Friday night once again. We are your boys, the Decibel Geek Podcast. My name is Aaron Camaro, joined by Chris Sinzak and also producer Rockin' Ron Runyon. This is the show. Every Friday night we take it live. We want to talk to you about hard rock, classic metal music. We're going to have a good time tonight. We got a subject that producer Ron is set up for us. We're going to talk about 70s rock. And yeah, guys, it's good to see you. Happy Friday night.
Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, man. Good to see you guys again.
Yep. Another end of another long week.
Oh, yeah.
A few of you need after this fucked up week. Okay. Well,
yeah, you're not alone, my friend. You know, everybody's had a rough week this week, it seems like. You know, that's just the way it goes sometimes. I think like springtime feels like it's rolling around. It's almost upon us. I know here in Nashville, it was ice cold last week. We had snow and ice. And this week it's been beautiful and it feels like spring. And when spring comes, that's usually when the hardest work comes around and the most stress because you're preparing for the new year. You're finally getting into it. So, you know, it's a good thing too. You know, it's hard work. It pays off. You know, it's rewarding and it makes moments like tonight even better because you've earned it all week long for working so hard.
Yeah, definitely. And every week's a long week for me until August. So, but yeah, I look forward to this even more this year. I wish I had this outlet the last 3 years, but better late than never. But yeah, it's so glad that so many of you are tuning in already. Good to see you guys. And yeah, what are we all drinking tonight? I know what Ron's drinking. Aaron, what are you drinking?
International Delight Caramel Macchiato Iced Coffee.
No alcohol tonight. I'm surprised.
No alcohol tonight. I don't know. I was just feeling tired. You know, I felt like if I had a drink tonight, I would just pass out. You know, just fall asleep on the job.
I've got Dark Matter IPA from Blackstone Brewery right here in Nastyville, Tennessee. It's a black IPA. It's the most metal of IPAs.
Yeah, I guess so. It's got a space woman on it.
It does. It's cool artwork.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, people already.
We'll see if yours is the same as ours, Robert.
That's what I used to do when there was like a moment in time where I was interested in IPAs, and really the only thing that attracted me to it was like the World Market store where you could pick out individual bottles.
Oh, I love that.
And it was all about the artwork to me. And so that's how I quickly got on and off the IPA train because like, man, they all look so cool. And I'm going to pick the coolest looking ones and I'm going to take them home and they all taste like garbage.
You can give them to me. Oh, I like them. They're a higher alcohol content. So you get more bang for your buck.
Yeah, true. That is true.
Johnny Jetson. Yes. Click Tea Shop. You can also get a Decibel Geek shirt through Click Tea Shop.
I was going to say, I heard Click Tea Shop, Click Tea Shop with a K. Heard they got all kinds of cool shirts, including Decibel Geek.
Yep. We are
Scott even spelled it right, too.
Yeah, that's right. So if you want to get yourself a T-shirt, right there, that's it.
Crown and Ginger Ale. Man, Eric's not fucking around. Nice. Jeez.
Yeah. I used to do Seagram's and Ginger Ale. You know that Sprite? Sprite makes a good Ginger Ale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tried that.
It's really good. I was surprised.
I had a roommate in college who was from Grundy County, Tennessee, which, if you know Tennessee, Grundy County is like, meth addict capital of the world. It's down in the mountains, kind of like the North Blue Ridge Mountains area, right by the state line. And he was like the most redneck guy I ever know. And like I have his voice stuck in my head because he was very redneck sounding, but he would try to sound eloquent. So he would say, we're gonna have a wine and cheese party, and we're gonna have some Crown and some Coke. And like I never get that out of my head. It was crazy.
That's awesome.
Ice House. Damn, I haven't had Ice House. I haven't had that since the 90s.
I didn't even know they still made that stuff. That's awesome.
I didn't either.
That was a big thing in the 90s. There was because then there was Bud Ice and there was all different kinds, like ice beer was the thing. And I still to this day don't know what the difference was between ice beer and regular beer.
There really wasn't one. And I like think of 90s beers: Ice House, Red Dog,
Red Dog, yeah.
And Southpaw. Do you remember Southpaw?
I don't remember Southpaw, but I
You-
definitely remember Red Dog.
I drank a lot of Red Dog in high school.
Yeah. Remember the old joke? You turn the can upside down, it's supposed to look like Batman going down on Catwoman or something like that.
Oh shit! I forgot all about that.
Yeah.
You're right. Yeah.
What was that now?
Was that Red Dog? I
reading the
remember one
comments.
beer that was that way.
Somebody went down on Catwoman. What are
Yeah,
we talking
yeah.
about now?
The logo, the beer logo for Red Dog. Look it up. Look it
Okay.
up
I
one
remember
time.
that. I haven't thought
I'll
of
have
that
to
since
do
the
that.
'90s.
Yeah, somebody told me that a long time ago, and it's like, yeah, I guess kinda.
Well, it's good you don't remember Southpaw because Southpaw was like the most watered down beer there was. It was worse
Yeah.
than Bush. And
Wow.
I had a friend that would he was a rapper in college and he would bring by like the worst beer ever to drink because it was cheap. And he brought by a 6-pack of Southpaw one day. And he was I was friends with him through Nathan, who is the voice of the Decibel Geek podcast, the intro guy. And he brought by a 6-pack of Southpaw, and I was having a shitty day, and I'm like, let's just drink the whole thing. So I drank 4, and he drank 2, and I was like, I don't even feel anything. And all I had was a headache from it because it was so watered down. It was terrible.
Yeah.
Keystone. I remember
Keystone,
them,
yeah, that was kind of like a watered down beer, I think, if I remember right. I always think of like bad beers, and growing up in Wisconsin, I think the number one was Blatz.
Blatz,
You guys ever have Blatz?
I've heard of it, but we didn't have it down here.
I gotta
No.
check this thing out now.
I remember one time. you're totally intrigued. Yeah, it's an urban legend, I guess now.
I'll be right back, guys. I gotta go Google something here.
I'm gonna look it up now because I missed seeing it, but I remember I totally
And then
forgot.
bring
about
it up on the screen and then
I
flip it
will.
over, and you'll see.
I can do that.
But one time I went, me and my brother, when my brother lived down here in Nashville, we all went back home to visit my dad. And my dad's got his beer fridge out in the garage. And as soon as we get there, we go to the beer fridge to crack a beer, and it's all Blatz. And it's like, Dad, why all this Blatz? And the only reason he did it, he made himself suffer so that we wouldn't drink all his beer, so that we would go buy our own beer.
Right.
And we did, because we weren't drinking the Blatz.
I remember Natural Light. Used to drink a lot.
Yeah,
of that
Natty
shit,
Light.
too.
Yep.
Ooh, we're gonna fumble some Natural Ice.
And Milwaukee's Best, the Beast. Ugh.
Beast. Ugh. Yeah. All right. I'm so quick on the draw. I've already found it.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah, there's the ears. There's Batman.
Batman.
And I guess-
Woman,
What
Catwoman.
now?
Look at the top.
Is that right? Yeah, Batman. I don't.
Batman.
I haven't.
You got to
looked at this
cover
in a
up
long
the
time.
cover up the eyes on the dog and then look at it.
Oh, okay. There it is. That's funny. Who the hell ever thought of that? Who thinks of these things?
That's brilliant.
Hey, did you know if you flip the Red Bull can upside down? Like who? Somebody was sitting around one night with an empty can and flipped it over and was like, "Hey, who was that guy? I have no idea. He's a legend."
I love you for
Unknown
bringing
legend.
that up because I hadn't thought about that since like my college days. That's funny as shit.
It's funny to me that, not only was that a thing in Wisconsin that some kid up there heard, it was also being told down here in Tennessee. I wonder where that originated from.
I don't know, but yeah, we knew it down here too. We used to laugh about that.
Crazy.
Never heard that before. Okay.
We're off to an auspicious start tonight.
Uh-huh.
Where's
Anyways.
Mighty K? She's not here today. What the hell?
Give her time. She'll be all right. She'll be coming along anytime.
I have to message her.
She
I hadn't
really
heard
misses.
from her in a little while. Maybe she got something going on.
Yeah, she's found a better podcast to listen
She's
to.
a grown up. She can make her own decisions. Oh man. So what do we got going on tonight?
We got a lot going on, but before we get into things, Chris,
Yes.
I haven't had enough yet. Man.
Could have fooled
Okay.
me.
Ron, you're not gonna get killed for doing this live stream on your wife's birthday, are you?
Yeah, happy birthday. to
I would
Mrs. Runyon.
I would get killed if I tried to bring her in on it.
Oh, okay.
I told her today I was going to buy a birthday tiara whatever, put on, and that would be my birthday present, is to bring her on the live stream here.
I was talking to my wife
She
about how
hurt me
funny.
real bad.
I was talking to my wife last time about how funny it would be if it was Jamie, Michelle, and Dawn sitting in these 3 squares one night talking shit about their nerdy ass husbands.
Oh boy, it'd be humiliating
on the live stream. Yeah, pour them some wine and let them roast us.
Call him. I'm married to a decibel geek.
Yeah, married to a geek.
My wife's learned to not say she likes something that's anything rock related, because she knows if she says that, then I'm going to give her like the entire history of it.
Yeah.
And it drives her crazy. She's like, just shut up. I said I like the song. I don't need to hear the history of the band. I'm like, sorry.
Tell her we get that all the time.
Aaron's got family watching tonight.
Hey, all right. My nephews. What's up, dudes?
Oh, yeah?
That's pretty cool.
Very cool.
Very cool.
I know I had my little nephew Jay makes an appearance on one of the early Chris and Aaron shows with me talking about music when he was little.
He said, I like Iron Guy.
That was Alexander. That was my brother's son. Yeah, that was different.
So funny.
I always try to record the kids when they're over and have fun doing it, because, that'll be funny when they're older.
Mm-hmm. You can play that back for them.
Yeah. And it's fun to talk to little kids about music. Like, what I did with Jay was we took album covers, and I let him go through and pick out all the best ones and tell me what he liked about them, what he didn't like about them. And he liked the Iron Maiden, and he liked the Ozzy, and all the cool ones. He liked Kiss.
Can't go wrong with Kiss.
Yeah, that would be a show, all right. Anyways, so I said,
I've never heard of Rhinelander beer. Cal
either.
brought that up. I saw that scroll through. Plenty of point, but I don't remember Rhinelander beer. I remember Rhinelander.
Okay.
All right.
Anyways, Chris announced a new guest coming to Rockin' Pod.
Yes. Martin Motnick, who's the bass player for Accept, we just announced today.
Right on.
Awesome.
Nice.
So yeah, very excited to see him. And then I've got a couple that are confirmed, but I haven't announced yet. I don't want to jinx it, but Ron thinks I should probably spill the beans as an exclusive here.
I want an exclusive on the live stream.
Well, it's just a live stream, so I mean,
if it doesn't happen, we'll say it was a mistake.
Well, they've agreed. I'm just waiting on like bio and photo, but they've agreed to come.
Wait, I missed it. I popped my headphone out. What was the announcement?
I just said Ozzy Osbourne. No, I'm just kidding.
Didn't you confirm somebody a couple of years back, and then they backed out at the last minute? So No,
we're not trying that mess
happen
again. That's not happening.
And that wasn't announced on the live stream, so there's no jinx. There's no jinx to it.
There's plenty of rooms and other rooms besides the expo that they can rent that weekend if need be.
Yeah, for a birthday party.
For a birthday party.
It is his birthday
right on
weekend.
Time. Yeah.
Now they'll see this, and then they'll say, "Yeah, it's definitely confirmed. I got to go to this now."
Now if you were fans of MTV's Headbangers Ball, I'm happy to tell you guys first that Ricky Rackman, who hosted Headbangers Ball, and also Matt Pinfield, who also hosted Headbangers Ball, will be joining us for Rockin' Pod this year.
So cool. So
Very
cool, man. Ricky Rackman and Matt Pinfield, man, those guys, I mean, between Headbangers Ball and then later on 120 Minutes, especially Headbangers Ball, I mean, I really got to give it up to the original. I lived out in the country when I was a kid, and we didn't even have cable. We had the 4 channels. That's how old we are, back in those days. And I would spend the night at my friend's house in town every Saturday night. And they'd say, "Why do you want to spend the night at your friend's house every Saturday night?" He's got cable. He's got the Headbangers Ball. We'd watch the countdown to the ball. We'd watch the Headbangers Ball. And man, I never wanted to be at my own home on a Saturday night because we lived too far away to get the cable. But I loved Headbangers Ball.
My buddy, when I was living in Atlanta as a kid, my buddy Jacob, we both had cable, but like it was sleepover night, Saturday night. So it was like probably 12, 13. we'd meet up. We'd go to the video store first. We'd get pizza, watch usually shitty horror movies. The worse, the better. And yes, he did, Al. And he took over for Ricky, I believe. And we would watch either a Nightmare on Elm Street or Friday the 13th, but also shit like Sleepaway Camp and really, really horrible, horror movies. And then wait till midnight when Headbangers Ball would come on, and then we would pop a VHS in and watch it together and tape it so you could watch it over and over again. I used to have like a bin filled with probably 50 tapes of Headbangers Ball, and I don't have it anymore. But yeah, that was like a weekly ritual. When
they're probably all on YouTube now.
Well, there was also really crappy softcore porn from Skinamax on there too. We would tape too. But anyway,
Shannon Tweed movies.
Oh yeah, a lot of Shannon Tweed movies.
Still got those, right?
Yeah, well, yeah, those are classics.
All right, let me give you my address.
Right over here somewhere. I ain't gonna dig it out right now, but I've got a VHS tape, a dubbed one of Headbangers Ball when Kiss was on there playing the Troubadour on the Revenge kickoff.
The club
I was so excited for that, and I went over to my buddy's house. I recorded it. I bought a tape especially for it, and I watched it over and over and over again.
Yeah, me too. And I remember they did one at the beginning of the Hot in the Shade tour where they went to like the rehearsals in Lubbock, Texas, and interviewed them.
Nice.
Well, shit, Al, digitize that shit and put it on YouTube. Come on.
Yeah.
Because I'd love to watch all that. There's a good bit of Headbangers Ball stuff on YouTube you can watch still.
In the day and age where everything is, pay-per-view, $9.99 a month for this network or that network or the Disney Plus or whatever. Mm-hmm. It'd be cool if MTV did something like that where you could pay $9.99 a month or whatever and watch, on demand all the Headbangers Balls in their completion,
Yeah, I would love that.
Yeah, the classic MTV when they actually talked about music and played music.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. That'd be so cool. Leave the news stories in and everything.
Yeah, Eric, I tried to get Beavis and Butthead, but their agent is an asshole. They want too much money.
Me and Aaron's going to be there. What are you talking about?
They're part of that the Paramount network or whatever now, and we can't afford them anymore.
Or I could say, we already have Rock and Ron and Aaron Camaro. We don't need Beavis and Butthead.
Yeah.
Fire. Hey, man. Hey, Butthead. All right.
I love that show, too.
So I do, do we want to do Rock and Roll Show and Tell? I've got a couple of things.
Yeah, I got a couple, too.
All right, let's,
Rock and Roll Show and Tell.
There's the theme song. All right, Aaron, you go ahead. You go first.
Okay. I worked really hard this week, and normally what I try to do is on my lunch break on a Friday, I try to hit one of the music stores and see what they got for CDs. And I haven't been able to do that in like a month, but today I did it. And I took a ride down to the McKay's. Kind of made me nervous because McKay's used to have like a massive CD collection on the top floor, but it's been reduced. So I'm not sure what's going on in there. Hopefully making room for more. I'm hoping. But I found a couple of cool things today. This is one I'm sure we'll be talking about in a little bit. Nazareth, the follow-up to Hair of the Dog. This one's called Close Enough for Rock and Roll. And I was listening in the car. And so later on when we talk about Nazareth, I got some experience here. So I've been listening to that today. And another one I got, I've heard of this band before, but I don't know nothing about them. And I've never listened to them before, and I didn't check it out yet. But what do you guys know about Zebra? You guys know Zebra?
The great band. Yeah.
Yeah? Is this a good album? It's the debut, I believe. It's just self-titled.
The stuff I've heard from them, I've liked. I mean, it's very dated. It's going to sound very 80s, but it's good stuff. I mean, I think they're from New Jersey.
They got a cool-looking logo. I have heard of this band. They look like a bunch of rockers. I'm going to give it a shot.
They were kind of the band that ruled New Jersey before Twisted Sister unseated them. If I'm remembering right. Yeah.
And then Bon Jovi came and unseated everybody.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah.
Right on. Cool.
Have you watched any of the Cobra Kai series, the Karate Kid TV show?
No, I haven't committed to that one yet. I'm way behind on everything. I just finished up watching Daredevil, and I know that's like 5 years old.
But yeah, so like in the Cobra Kai though, not the debut, it's called 3V. Okay, it's
okay.
But Johnny Lawrence, who was the bad guy in the Karate Kid movie, he wears a zebra T-shirt on several episodes.
Yeah,
it's pretty
that's
cool.
cool.
He's really big into hair metal.
Right on. Awesome. Yeah, I've heard some cool things about it. Yeah, I see that now. It is called V3. I see it down here in the corner. So that shows how much I know about them. There it is.
I think you'll like it, though.
3V,
the stuff I've heard
3.
from them, I've liked a lot.
Yeah, same here. I just have to dig into them a little bit more, but what I have heard, I really like.
Right on. Well, I will let you know what I think of it.
So I'll share I got 2 things. Is that all you had this week?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. Well, Aaron will know this from about a year ago. I guess, God, it's been already about a year since this happened, but this is an autographed picture of Resist and Bite, who will be playing our pre-party concert at Rockin' Pod.
Heck yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
And that's got Tommy Skio and Nathan Utz from Lynch Mob and our good buddy David Parks on drums. And so we're working on a venue for that. And then
I sure love that song they came out with. I'm ready to hear some more of it.
Yeah, I'm gonna try. I want to get us a sneak preview before. I would like Part of the Amazing. Oh
boy.
The other ladies would love that.
Now,
I'm sure
now we started something.
Yeah, we need a Mrs. Fugger to come on and round that one out.
We'll have to work on our wives about that. That'll be the thing. Like, Mrs. Fugger will come on with you, and they'll be like, okay.
Yeah, they like her. So, did anybody see this movie back in the day?
Crossroads, yeah.
Is that the one with Phil Macchio as the guitar player?
Ralph Macchio.
Or Ralph Macchio, and it's got Steve Vai as the devil?
Yes.
Yeah, I love that movie.
This is the soundtrack on vinyl.
Oh, wow.
Cool.
Yeah. It's really cool stuff. I love this movie. It's cheesy, but if you're a guitar player, you can't help but love it. But yeah, the showdown at the end of the movie with Steve Vai and Ralph Macchio, and it's not. And apparently, Steve Vai played both parts because Ralph Macchio can't play like that.
Well, no, of course not.
But yeah, I just that movie when I was up.
But he is a black belt in karate.
Yeah, when I was learning guitar, this movie was a big deal to me just because it was so fascinating to watch all the guitar playing in it. Yeah, love that movie. And it used to bum me out in the early 2000s because I would see on my DVR, I would see on the cable guide, it would say Crossroads, and I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna watch Crossroads, and it was the fucking Britney Spears movie called Crossroads.
Oh.
Used to bug the hell out of me.
Boy, that's a letdown.
But I always look for kind of off the wall vinyl like that, interesting soundtracks or compilations, and that one just stuck out to me, so I thought I'd show it off today.
That's pretty cool.
Steve Vai do a lot on that soundtrack?
On the soundtrack?
Yeah.
Guess I'm banging the shit out of my mic. Let's see. I mean,
sounds like a personal problem.
No, it's mostly the blues stuff on here.
Yeah.
But,
it's all Ralph Macchio playing.
It's a lot of Ry Cooder. He did a lot of the music for the film. But if you like Ry Cooder, you'll like it. But
he's a good guitar player.
Yeah. To be honest, I haven't spun it on my player, but yeah. No, actually, I don't see any Steve Vai on here. So that's probably why I got it. What did I pay for this? I paid $5 for that. Holy shit! I shouldn't have paid that.
You always got to check if Steve Vai's on it first before you drop that $5.
Yeah, no kidding. I mean to pay $5 for Ry Cooder. Come on. All right, Ron.
So,
got anything?
I don't have anything, but I did pick up something today, and you may not have a very good opinion here, but someone that is going to be brought up later tonight a lot. I got the new Alice Cooper today, but still have to listen to it. I guess Chris is not a fan.
Is it a full-length studio album?
Yeah, it is.
Yes,
it's got 15 songs on it.
Well, yeah. It's got. I mean, you put that Breadcrumbs EP out with cover songs on it like a year ago.
Yeah.
It's got everything from that, and then a few Alice Cooper songs thrown in.
Okay.
Oh, really?
Yeah. It'll probably. I mean, it'll probably grow on me, but I don't know. On first impression, I don't know. It's just it just sucks in my opinion. I hate to say it, but it's
What's
true.
wrong with it? I mean, it's Alice Cooper, so I mean, it can't be the vocals can't be the problem, right? And it
It's
can't
just,
be the
it's
songwriting.
It's uninspired. Now
Yeah.
the songwriting is quite bad in many places, honestly. In my opinion, there's a song on there. Do you remember when Kiss did the "You Wanted the Best" song and how cheesy that was, where they're like, criticizing each other in the song?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he brings the original Alice Cooper band back to do a similar song called "I Hate You," and it is one of the most cringeworthy fucking things I have ever heard in my life. It's terrible. Now, there's probably a few songs that eventually I'm going to say, yeah, it's cool. Like, I mean, the cover of the Lou Reed song, Rock and Roll, that was on Breadcrumbs, too. I like that. There's a song called Our Love Is Going to Change the World, which is a cover by a band called Outrageous Cherry or something from Detroit. It's a goofy song, but it's okay. But there's a lot of songs that you would just be like, this is just generic half-assed songs. It's just, I don't know. I need to give it more time. I'll listen to it more. But as of today, I was not impressed. Yeah. And I hate to say that because I love Alice. It bums me out.
Yeah, I can't be disappointed in Alice Cooper album. I love that he's, we've got him on the list here, and it's not even his debut album. So he put out albums before 1970, one or two.
Yeah, I forget.
But that means he's been putting out music for over 50 years. So
yeah, no,
to
it's
still
cool
be putting it out there.
It's still cool to get material from him. You
just wish it was better material.
And I mean, he's got he's got all these Detroit players. He's got Wayne Kramer from the MC5 on it. He's got the drummer from Mitch Ryder and the Detroit Wheels playing drums on it. But it's like I want to see him do an album with his band that's focused on new material.
Yeah, I do agree.
The whole Detroit thing is just like enough already. Let's just make a real Alice Cooper record again.
And I will kind of say that the last couple albums, well, since Welcome to My Nightmare 2, he's kind of gone the quirky but yet poppy kind of radio friendly or something.
I like
kind of route, and
I thought Paranormal was better than this one.
He needs to not put out hard heavy albums like he did for a little while there, but something more along the lines of what he did early on, and that was good guitar rock songs, even if they're quirky in the lyrics and weird, but he needs to go back to the rock and roll. I think he's trying to fit into today's music kind of a little too much.
Maybe there's like a lack of consistency there, because if you think about since Welcome to My Nightmare came out, it hasn't been like a band effort on the albums. It's kind of like Alice Cooper and a varying assortment of different musicians and other singers and things like that, which is cool because that keeps Alice Cooper as the main focus. And you can't say, oh, the Alice Cooper band is awesome. Alice Cooper doesn't want a band in that respect, I don't think. But by not going into the studio with a band, with the songs that the band put together, like you said, if he would do that with his touring band, I think he'd have a winner easily, easily a great Alice Cooper album. But, it's just a bunch of songs a lot of times, Paranormal didn't really have a lot of consistency to it, because it seemed like it was instead of being an album, it was like a selection of tracks.
Yeah.
It didn't really flow or anything. And then it had the second part on it that was weird. And same with Welcome to My Nightmare. The part 2 was a bunch of different musicians on that too. So that was just like a collection of songs and not so much an album, So I think that is the answer for Alice Cooper. You want to come out with one of the best albums of your career, because your career is winding down, my man. Like Rock and Ron said, he's been in business for over 50 years. The career is winding down. You want to play some golf. but you want to go out with a bang, put out that awesome Alice Cooper album that you can be proud of if that ends up being the last one you decide to make. Don't come out with this half-ass stuff just to put something out, to make a buck or whatever, or just to satisfy your hardcore fans, but really do something to wow your hardcore fans, because we all are, and we're waiting for that epic Alice Cooper album. It's been a long time, my friend. Please give us a good one.
What I'd like to see is, because obviously we don't have Dick Wagner to write with him anymore, but Steve Hunter was a big part of writing a lot of that solo stuff. I'd like to see him bring Steve Hunter back and write some stuff.
Well, I mean, but you're talking about the band, his guitar players are awesome. Yeah. Chuck Garrick can write songs,
And Tommy Hendrickson's a great writer, and so is Ryan Roxy. So
Ryan Roxy's awesome too.
They could do some great stuff together. I just wish he'd give those guys a chance.
I just think look at what his daughter's putting out with his guitarist Chuck Garrick, with Bisto Blanco. They're putting out some good hard rock, kind of Rob Zombie-ish type, hard rock, and that would fit good with him if he could have that kind of sound and good songwriters, good music. And that's what I would more like to see instead of this kind of poppy Alice Cooper. But you take what you get. Be happy that our idols are still putting out new music. So
Yeah, I agree with that too. Still grateful.
So that's Rock and Roll Show and Tell, everybody.
All right. Awesome. What else are we doing?
We got anything else going on here before we get into tonight's subject?
I don't think so.
I got one quick thing.
Okay.
When I know there's a lot of wrestling fans that also love rock and roll, and some of you watch this. When I first got into the wrestling business, like right at the same time, I met a guy named Joe Hudson who was working as a cameraman, and like literally within weeks of each other, we started at the same place at the same time, got our foots in the door, and went from there. And this guy went on to become a wrestler known as Josephus.
I heard about that.
And Josephus he really was up and doing stuff. Everywhere he went, the crowds, the people loved him. He played the role of Bruiser Brody in the Dark Side of the Ring episode. And he was just an awesome, funny, cool, nice guy. And he suddenly passed away. I know if you're a wrestling fan and you can help him out, there's a GoFundMe going on right now to set up a fund for his son. And because Josephus wasn't old, he was a young guy, probably, I say young guy, he was probably about my age. And yeah, just all of a sudden gone, and I'm not sure what happened or what the details are, but, if you're a wrestling fan, if you follow the National Wrestling Alliance, that's the one run by Billy Corgan from the Smashing Pumpkins. Josephus was a big part of that. And I know the people loved him. He was a great wrestler, funny guy, man. He played a joke on me one time. He got me so good. I walked right into it. We were at this is my good story about him. We were at the fairgrounds and it was hot. It was summer. It was hot inside the fairgrounds. The place was packed. And I'm sitting there with Josephus, and there's a woman there wrestling, and she's like a Amazon cave queen, long and tall, muscular, beautiful woman. And he goes, "Man, it's hot in here." I say, yeah, it sure is. And he goes, "Man, I wonder how hot she is." And I looked at him, I kind of chuckled and said, "Super hot." And he goes, "Hey, that's my wife."
Oops.
And I said, "You fucker, you let me walk right into that. I was just joking around." He knew I was just joking around, but I had no idea it was his wife either. But he had me scared for just a second because I thought I offended him when I was just kidding around. And then he laughed and I laughed, and he got me good, and he was a good-hearted guy, man. And I'm really, really sad to hear that he passed. Like I said, it's just one of those things, because we started, like I said, almost on the same day, getting our foot in the door at the same place, and see where he was going with his career and how things were going so good for him. And then all of a sudden it's over. You just don't know. Tomorrow's not always promised. So rock all you can today. And if you can help him out, he's got a GoFundMe out there. Look up Josephus, Joe Hudson, and help him out if you can. I'd appreciate it.
Yeah, I've seen from the local community, I've seen a big outpouring of love for that guy. So yeah, he was cool. Guy.
Very much so.
That's awesome.
So here's to you, Joe. Rock on, brother.
All right. Toast to Joe. Yeah, I'll toast to anything.
I'll toast anything.
All right. So I guess let's get to the business at hand.
All right. So, of course, everybody knows from the preview, we're going to be talking about our favorite 70s hard rock albums.
All right. The
guideline is I picked 30 bands here. Yeah, I know. We can add more if you want, but
I think 30 is going to be enough.
I picked out 30 of our favorite Decibel Geek bands and listed the albums that were only released from 1970 to 1979. So anything after that, didn't include. So our, some of them, kind of had better albums into the 80s and hit their stride a little bit more or something. But, we're going with that for tonight's discussion. Maybe we'll get into 80s albums if this goes over well at some point. Okay. But anyways, let me give a taste here of what we have to look forward to.
Oh boy, here we go.
37.
All right. Don't start with me.
This is going to take as long as the 70s.
Oh, the 70s wasn't long for you. What was you, 2?
5 years of it.
4 years for me.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Let's give a little taste here before we get into it, guys.
All right.
And the 70s were such a good time for this kind of music. What the hell?
What's up? I'm in a 70s mood. Free bird.
Ladies
my
and gentlemen,
long lost brother.
It's Joe Dirt.
All right.
Yeah.
Rocking around with hair. I'm scared.
That's Ron Camaro now.
I know it's been a while.
It's my brother.
Oh, man.
All right, guys.
What thrift store did you buy that at?
What are you talking about? This is what I had back in the 70s.
Nice.
Oh, did you have long hair in the 70s, Ron?
I actually had a ponytail.
Did you have a mullet?
I had a mullet. I was rocking the business in the front and the party in the back.
All right.
What'd you
All
say?
right, well-
I can't hear you for the party in the back.
All right. So Rock and Ron is our he's our tour guide through the 70s today. So you take it away. We're just here for the
That's
we're here
because
for the Rock and Ron show.
I'm the old one here.
Mm. I thought he was just getting ready for the Rock and Pod costume contest and trying to win first prize for Aaron Camaro lookalike.
Yeah, there you go. I needed the.
You guys do look
goatee and the
separated at
mustache
birth
and
right
all
now.
that.
I know. It's my long lost brother.
Yeah.
All right.
It's
Unfortunately,
Ron Camaro.
I can't see shit in the sunglasses, so.
You totally just killed the whole vibe.
Yeah, and here we are right back to 2020.
Got my Leonard Skinner shirt on.
Too funny.
What I love about high school girls.
Oh boy.
Hey man, is that Freedom
I
Rock
get-
man? Yeah,
I get
man.
older and they
We'll
stay
turn it
the
up,
same
man.
age.
Turn it up, man.
All right.
All right,
Love
let's
that
actually
movie.
talk about music.
Oh boy.
All right. Here we go, man.
This went off the rails quick
Yeah,
before it even began.
yeah, no shit. I'm gonna
All
have
right,
that extra
so-
beer to handle this one.
All right, 70s tour guide, take us on.
He does look like the
So-
Freedom Rock guy.
All right. So we'll start right off with the man
That's
here
funny.
that we just talked about.
All right.
Yeah.
Note to Ron: make the intro shorter next time.
That's why I only picked a few of the bands in there, but I wanted
I'm glad you didn't pick 30.
to behind the scenes stuff. I didn't want it too long, but I wanted it long enough that I could get into costume here. So
We're going to be out of time by the time we get to number 6.
You said long enough.
all right. All right, starting right off with the man. We got Mr. Alice Cooper. And the albums he released from 1970 to 1979 was Easy Action, Killer, Love It to Death, School's Out, $1 Billion Babies, Muscle of Love, Welcome to My Nightmare, Goes to Hell, Lace and Whiskey, and From the Inside.
Yeah, all of them except for the first one you listed. The first one, I'm not really down with Easy Action. There's only really one song on that album I like, but everything else is all my favorite Alice Cooper. That's
Well, see,
the stuff
now-
I love the most.
You got to pick what your favorite is, though.
Oh shoot!
Out of
That's
what's the best album out of those? And I've got them all on my list here. And if you guys pick the right answer, then you get a point.
What do you mean the right answer?
Because I got all the right answers here.
okay. All
You
right.
have your opinion. there.
They're the ones I picked.
Well, mine is Welcome to My Nightmare.
Oh man.
Kevin Williams agrees with me.
Yeah, it's hard to mess with it, but man, Killer. I gotta go with Killer. I love that album so much, but I love all those albums. Jesus, it's hard to pick one out of all those. $1 Billion Babies is amazing, front to back.
Ray
Alice
Coon
Cooper
likes
put out-
LOL. That's a good
Yeah,
one too.
That's the new one.
All
I don't
let's-
know.
So you got to
So,
pick
Aaron-
one.
Aaron gets a point.
Okay.
What? He
I mean,
didn't even pick one, did he?
Yeah, he said Killer.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That he
Killer.
ended up-
Totally.
Okay.
But I agree with him. There was really hard to choose.
You can
Yeah.
both be wrong. It's fine.
Oh, actually, I outlined
But you can't
both
mess
Killer and Welcome to My Nightmare, so you both get a point.
Okay.
Shane
I
says
made a
whiskey
mistake
and lace,
there,
but that's not a valid answer because it's lace and whiskey. You didn't even get the album title right.
I said lace and whiskey.
Mooger Fooger.
I'm talking about Mooger Fooger,
Oh,
not you.
Mooger
He
Fooger,
said whiskey and lace.
He's got his priorities all mixed up.
I love that Kiss album, Night's Crazy. It's great. Sorry.
Okay, moving on to Deep Purple. We got In Rock, Fireball, Machine Head, Who Do We Think We Are, Burn, Stormbringer, and Come Taste the Band.
All
Burn.
great albums.
Burn
All great
for me.
albums. Yeah, I mean, I gotta agree with Chris, man. I really love the Coverdale Glenn Hughes era. Man, I love that early stuff too, man. In Rock is so good. I'm gonna agree with Chris. I'm gonna go Burn. I love that stuff.
Well, I was going to agree with that. I do love Burn, but I figured you guys were going to pick that. So I ended up going with Machine Head.
Which you can't mess with that album either because there's not a bad song on it.
And it's got the classic, Smoke on the Water.
Yeah.
Take the roadkill. What's that?
They said take the roadkill off your head.
Off my head.
So it looks like it's mostly Machine Head and Burn.
Yeah.
Although Al Horta thinks In Rock.
In Rock is amazing.
In Rock,
they're all
awesome
good.
too.
They're all good, but Burn
None of those albums are bad. Not one of them.
My favorite. I love that one.
And Stormbringer too is badass.
Stormbringer's good too. Yeah.
And even Come Taste the Band with Richie Blackmore out. You know, Richie Blackmore's not even on that album, and it's still killer.
I'm just picking my favorite.
I love them all.
That's basically what I did. Is I just went through and picked out what my favorite is. I'm figuring everybody's going to have their opinions, but there was just a lot of great music that came out in the 70s.
For sure.
It wasn't all disco and ambrosia, you know?
That's how much I feel for you,
for you, baby.
How much I feel. This is for you, Chris.
It's a great song. I don't care what you say.
Heavier side of ambrosia?
I love ambrosia. Ambrosia rules.
What was the other one? Biggest Part of Me?
Oh, yeah.
Was that one?
Part of Me is a great song.
That's their heavy stuff.
Doesn't have to be heavy to be good, my friend.
That was their heavy stuff.
All right. So far, so good. Alice Cooper, Deep Purple. I think it's hard to argue that Alice Cooper's best stuff came out in the 70s and Deep Purple's best stuff came out in the 70s.
So you're not a big fan of Alice Cooper's 80s?
I mean, I like that stuff too, but the blackout era, I'm a fan of that. Some of the stuff in the 80s where he kind of got, where Kane Roberts was in the band, I kind of find some of that stuff to be like trying to copy what was popular in the 80s.
Constrictor and
Constrictor and Hey Stupid and all that. Raise Your Fist and Yell. Seemed like Alice Cooper kind of bandwagon jumping, and he did that into the 90s too,
where he did
moments
on those.
There are good moments, but they're not complete albums like the stuff he was coming out with in the 70s.
But like stuff like Roses on White Lace and Crawling and stuff like that is really good stuff. But the blackout period is my favorite, but most people look at me like I'm psycho when I say that. But
and there's some intrigue to that and mystery that enhances that too. But the music is pretty damn good too. But even the blackout era are not complete albums. There's stuff on Dada that's weird and kind of sucks, but there's other songs on there that are just mind blowing. So, but the 70s stuff, I mean, he was consistently putting out perfect albums.
Right.
I think he probably had the most albums on this list.
Yeah.
That came out in the 70s. He did pretty consistent just about every year. Yeah,
that's my buddy Mark Stratton right there. What's up, Mark?
Great that he's still around.
Is that a Wisconsin guy?
No, here in Nashville area.
Oh, okay.
All right. So according
Can I bring some breaking news real fast?
Yeah.
Did somebody die?
No, it's good.
Okay.
Just got the approval that Podcast Rock City is coming back to Rockin' Pod.
Hell yeah. Nice.
Yep. So excited to see them. So I know Aaron and Jody Have Not will disappear for about 10 minutes at one point this year.
Where will we go? I don't know.
Bathroom, maybe.
We'll be back. No, not in the bathroom.
No,
Everybody disappears to the bathroom.
Those scenic strolls through the far reaches of the parking lot.
if you know the right place to go, Rockin' Pod also provides herbal therapy. That's all I'm going to say.
Bring your own herb.
Party on, dudes.
That's it, I'm out. No, we need more of you Atlanta people. Come on. Sorry to derail thing. Go ahead.
No, that's good news. That is the breaking news that's important enough to stop for. I love it.
I love those guys.
Shit,
So
yeah.
It's excited they're coming back.
Has Decibel Geek TV confirmed yet?
You tell me.
I thought so.
According to my dashboard on my ticketing site, no, you have not.
Oh. I'm waiting, keeping them in suspense.
Yeah, clearly.
All right, now.
All right, Freedom Rock. What do you got next?
Move on to the real heavy hitters here. But according to your podcast episode, what was it? Best first.
Oh, best firsts.
Best first.
Thanks for paying attention, Ron.
I can't remember yesterday.
Clearly.
All right.
I hear that there's a spectacular seconds in the works.
That's why I was confused.
It might be sensational, but
was it fantastic first or
spectational?
All right. Anyways,
supercalifragilisticexpialidocious second.
One of the big hitters for the 70s that both of you are not real big fans of.
April.
So we'll see what you think is Led Zeppelin.
I never said I wasn't a fan of Led Zeppelin. I just think when we were talking about that, I don't think their first album is nearly their best. I think their first album might even maybe closer to the bottom for me because they're mostly blues covers. But as far as great albums, Physical Graffiti is by far, to me, their greatest.
Well, I didn't say them yet. So luckily, the first album and the second album was actually released before 1970.
Yeah, I know that.
So you got 3, you got 4, got Houses of the Holy, Physical Graffiti.
I already said Physical Graffiti.
Presence. I know you're jumping ahead of me here.
And Through the Outdoor.
I'm on a schedule thing here.
I think Coda's their best work. No, I'm just kidding.
And In Through the Outdoor.
Yeah.
That's my least favorite of theirs, I think.
In Through the Outdoor.
My favorite is Houses of the Holy.
Okay.
Physical Graffiti. Who gets the point?
You get the point. I went with Physical Graffiti too.
You're right.
It's because I think one of their best songs is Immigrant Song.
Shit is real.
And
Immigrant Song's not on Physical Graffiti.
It isn't?
No, I think that's on 3, isn't it?
I thought that's why I picked it.
It tells you how much we know.
I don't know. I might be wrong. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't think Immigrant Song's on Physical Graffiti.
That is the problem. Led Zeppelin
Immigrant Song's on
together.
Led Zeppelin 3.
Yeah, that's
is
what
it?
I thought. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Well, Physical Graffiti's still good.
Yeah, I still get the point for nothing.
Okay. How about Rolling Stones? We got Sticky Fingers, Exile on Main Street, Goat's Head Soup, It's Only Rock and Roll, Black and Blue, and Some Girls.
Rolling Stones' best stuff absolutely came out in the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exile on Main Street's probably my favorite of those.
I'm going to go with Sticky Fingers.
I like that one too, but not my favorite.
It's Only Rock and Roll's badass too, though. But I'm going to go with Sticky Fingers. It's got that song on there called Sway I like a lot. Yeah, Exile on Main Street's badass. Like I said, that's what makes this tough because all the Stones' best stuff, to me, came out in the 70s. Had their classic 60s stuff, yeah, but, when they started getting weird and more rockin' and more distortion, that's the stuff I like.
Although they ended the decade doing disco music.
And that kind of led into the weird shit in the 80s.
That's the problem. When I came on to the Stones, it was more off of what was it, Start Me Up, and
Yeah.
I didn't get into the Stones till like I mean, I listened to their 60s stuff because when my dad was teaching me guitar, he would teach me Satisfaction and stuff like that. But like the first new release I remember from the Stones was like Steel Wheels, and that was like the late 80s.
Yeah,
which wasn't great. Voodoo Lounge is a good record though. But anyway, we're not talking about that.
That's the thing. I really didn't come around. I started working at a record store in 1980, and so a lot of what was released from 80 on is what I was seeing coming into the record store and started. And that's what turned me on to a lot of the groups that, I should have known about in the 70s, but didn't really get into, and then had to go back to like the 60s and 70s and check them out.
So what's the right answer?
Physical Graffiti. Oh, no.
All right, you're fired.
That's the other right answer.
We're not even talking about Led Zeppelin anymore.
Some girls.
Stones.
Some girls.
Some girls.
Some girls.
No points awarded.
No points awarded. It's the worst. It's the worst version of Beat the Geek ever.
You're trying to beat the mullet geek here.
Beating Joe Dirt here.
Joe Dirt, yeah. All right, how about this one? Status Quo. I don't know if you guys...
Quo.
Status.
Phil Schaus.
Tomato, whatever. Status Quo. Ma Kelly's Greasy Spoon, Dog of Two Head, Pile Driver, Hello, Q, On the Level, Blue for You, Rockin' All Over the World, If You Can't Stand the Heat, and Whatever You Want.
That's a lot of albums, man.
Yeah.
Those guys were killing it in the 70s. I'm not familiar with all those albums, to be honest with you. I only know a few of them. I'm going to guess Blue for You. No. I take that back. On the Level. On the Level is the one I'm going with.
I'm pleading ignorance. I'm not even entering a guess on this one because I don't really know their material.
Just pick one. You got a chance. You got a 1 in 20 chance here.
On the Level. Since he's picking everything you say, then
all
I'll
right.
just say what you say.
We all say On the Level.
I did know that would be a goofy one because they weren't very popular in the States.
Mm-mm.
And they were big overseas and they're still putting out stuff today as well. But
I never knew nothing about them until we started doing this show. When we started doing this show and people would constantly be bringing up Status Quo, that's when I started checking them out. But before Decibel Geek, I'd never even heard of them.
Well, I ended up going with Quo because if you actually listen to that one, that is probably their hardest rocking album.
Yeah.
If you guys check that out, they had a lot of kind of poppy, fluffy songs in between and stuff. Thank you, Kevin.
Let's keep talking about Zeppelin.
All right, moving on then. How about UFO?
Physical Graffiti.
UFO
Killer.
1, UFO 2, Flying, Phenomenon, Force It, No Heavy Petting, Lights Out, and Obsession.
This is hard.
I mean, you got to go Lights Out, right?
I guess Lights Out's the best album, like front to back. Although Obsession is really fucking good.
Yeah. No Heavy Petting's really good too.
Yeah, but those are the top two for me. I guess I would go with Lights Out.
Lights Out.
I had to go with Lights Out too.
But
we all get a point.
But I mean, Strangers in the Night is the best thing they ever released. The live.
I mean, if you want to count a live album,
yeah.
I mean, that's like saying the greatest thing Kiss ever released was live.
Well, that's true.
that's I guess. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Yeah.
There you go. JTB's checking in. Ma Kelly's Greasy Spoon. I'll have to check that out.
I always got my eyes open for Quo CDs whenever I'm out searching.
Yeah, they're not easy to find.
No. Mm-mm.
Yeah. All right. Most
You would
people
think
like
because
that.
there's so damn many of them.
So what do we got?
I don't know. You're the producer. What's
Jay.
next?
Well, because
You're
I'm not
leading the charge.
I'm not looking
All right.
at the comments.
I'm doing the comments. You do
Okay.
the producer job.
Yeah, just concentrate. Stay in your lane.
Well, seeing what everybody else was saying. So JTB like Ma Kelly's Greasy Spoon.
Yes.
And then it's Lights Out and Obsession.
That was 2 minutes ago. But yeah, go ahead.
Moving on to the real heavy hitter then. Black Sabbath.
Yeah.
We talked about this on the recording last night.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we got Black Sabbath, Paranoid, Masters of Reality, Volume 4, Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, Sabotage, Technical Ecstasy, and Never Say Die.
It's so hard to choose, man. Every one of those albums is awesome. Even Technical Ecstasy. Right, Chris?
Technical Ecstasy's my pick.
Yeah, I know that.
Yep.
Volume 4 for me. But I love it all. Masters of Reality, yeah. Sabbath, Bloody Sabbath, yes. The debut, yes. Paranoid, absolutely. Love it all. If I had to pick one, top to bottom, it's Volume 4. I love Sabotage, too. I love them all. I really do. Some maybe a little less than others, but, man, the first 5, just out of this world good. Love it. 70's Sabbath, man. Some of my favorite music of all time. If I had to choose, if Kiss couldn't be my favorite band, 70's Sabbath would be, that'd be it for me.
Nah, not for me.
Yeah. I ain't hip. Like people so they say Black Sabbath. Oh, I like the Dio stuff. Whatever. That stuff was great. Better. That stuff was great, but you can't touch the original. Ozzy Osbourne led Black Sabbath with all 4 original members. Unfreaking touchable.
Wait, are there hipsters that are extolling the virtues of the Dio era of Sabbath?
Yeah, they're trying to be hipsters. They're trying to be hipsters. They're drinking their weird black IPAs and talking about how Dio and Sabbath was better than the original. Absurd, I say.
You're calling me a hipster.
As they curl their mustaches, they go, oh, the Dio era, my friend.
I can't curl any of this. What are you?
I know. You're getting there, though.
I think you're missing the definition of hipsters.
I am wearing.
I haven't talked to any hipsters that even know what Black Sabbath is.
They're tying your wife to the train track, talking about how great Ronnie James Dio Sabbath is. There he is. Look, he was just doing it.
Hey, I don't look like Raleigh Fingers, so don't even start.
The hipsters I've talked to, they just say, I don't know who this Ozzy Osbourne guy is.
Speaking of rock and roll podcast, I'm not tying some girl to the fucking railroad tracks and like twirling my mustache. So lay off.
Ozzy Osbourne's that guy that did that song with Post Malone, right?
Right. I think so.
Yeah.
Oh, shit. And now everyone's going to stop watching.
That's what hipsters say nowadays. Yeah, he's
exile and sabotage.
He's got a decent voice.
This Ozzy kid's going somewhere.
It's a good thing Post gave him a chance. Put him on the album.
Keep it in the 70s, Ron.
Yeah, I know.
What's next?
All right, next we got Nazareth.
Physical Graffiti.
You both lost. I went with Paranoid.
Okay. That's understandable.
I
can't argue with it.
I think that's the one I first got introduced to the old Black Sabbath was Paranoid because of course got War Pigs and Iron Man and all of that on there. So
did you know that's my dad on the album cover?
We talked about that.
It's true. That's my dad.
That's Mr. Camaro.
Mr. Camaro, that's my dad on there.
Kind of looks like me right now. Anyway, I need the sword.
Jeez.
All right, what did I say? Nazareth.
Nazareth, yeah.
So we got Nazareth, self-titled, Exercises, Loud and Proud, Razamanaz, Rampant, Hair of the Dog, Close Enough for Rock and Roll, Playing the Game, Expect No Mercy, and No Mean City.
Man, this one's easy. It's Hair of the Dog.
Hair of the Dog.
No question about it.
That's their best record.
You know, and I'm learning the Nazareth because for the longest time, since I was a little kid, I knew about Hair of the Dog. You know, that's an amazing album. You know, that's a damn near a perfect album. But it's weird because I love that album so much. But every time I get a Nazareth album and I'm thinking it's going to be the same as that, it never is. Like this one I got, Close Enough for Rock and Roll. There's like some country songs on there. There's some like boogie woogie fog hat kind of stuff on there. And it's just so weird because that Nazareth Hair of the Dog album is so heavy and dark and awesome. But every time I get one of their other albums, it just doesn't measure up for me. So I don't know all those albums, but I know Hair of the Dog, and I know it's one of my all-time favorites. I got to go with Hair of the Dog.
All right. Hey, real quick, point of order. I've got to let Aaron take over for a minute. I got to run and open the garage door because my wife is picking my daughter up from band rehearsal, so I have to step away for a couple of minutes.
Okay, all right.
I'll be right back.
Let us know how that goes.
Family commitments. I'm sorry.
Right on. So we're right though. Hair of the Dog, right, Ron?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had to go with Hair of the Dog. Same with me. That was my introduction. And
that album always makes me think about being a young kid who would sit in front of the record player with the headphones on, with the curly cable that plugged in, and listen to my aunts and uncles' records, my dad's records. And I remember being a little bitty kid listening to Nazareth, you know, and Dan McCaffrey's got that, you know, now you old mess. And he's got like that gravelly, awesome voice. And I remember looking at that album cover and thinking that the monsters on the cover were the band.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I was so little, I didn't know. It could have been like a Muppets thing. I have no idea. But I remember thinking, wow, you know, these monsters, and they creeped me out, and they were so cool looking at the same time. And I thought, these clearly this is who sings this, because listen to that voice. It's inhuman.
Yeah. I mean, the riff with Hair of the Dog.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, I could listen to that all day.
Oh God, what else is on there? Classic. You know, Whiskey Drinking Woman, and what is it? Times Are Changing. Times Are Changing is, God, that's awesome. One of my all-time favorite songs. Please Don't Judas Me. That's a good one. Yeah. And the famous one that their biggest hit ever, Love Hurts. You know,
Love Hurts. Yeah,
that's all right. You know, it's a huge hit.
It's a ballad, but yeah, it is still. Yeah, it is still awesome before ballads was really a thing, or
put them on the map. That's for sure.
Yeah,
made them a lot of money.
Well, unfortunately, that's what ballads did for a lot of people.
Yeah. All right, what's next?
And Chris will have to correct me on this, but I'm thinking maybe it was one of the others, but it might have been Nazareth that they actually put out a not a cover, but a original version of Rock and Roll Hell. That was before the Kiss one.
Bachman Turner Overdrive?
Was it Bachman Turner? You might be right.
I'm thinking so.
You might be right. I knew it was one of these. I went and listened to that when I was doing the research. I seen that they had a song called Rock and Roll Hell.
See, this is what happens when I don't drink alcohol on Friday nights. I actually know the answers to things. I actually know what song is on which Zeppelin album and all that. That's crazy. I got to quit drinking. I'm so much smarter when I'm not buzzed up.
Whether I'm drinking or not, I don't know shit. So, but I just know. Did you ever hear that song then?
I don't think so. The Bachman Turner Overdrive one, I think I've heard. If that's what I'm thinking of, if that's the right one.
Of course, you heard the Kiss one.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah, I had to go and listen to it. It's on YouTube somewhere.
Right.
But yeah, because it was written by Jim Valance.
Right. Yeah. Canadian. So there's your connection. The Canadians.
Which had part songwriting on the Kiss version, but of course Kiss put their spin on it.
So speaking of Bachman Turner Overdrive, you got some BTO on this list. I know if we're talking about hard rock in the 70s, you got to have BTO on there.
Yeah, they're coming up. I seen.
I tried to give you a segue.
I know.
You passed on and kept going.
I'm kind of stalling until Chris gets back here.
Oh, well, so, I can step out for a minute too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Just let me talk to all the viewers here, and we'll get
Blackfoot. Yeah.
Blackfoot was another good one. Train.
Yeah,
that was fucking awesome.
I like Blackfoot. That album Strikes is badass. I know that.
Yeah.
And they got a bunch of albums too. So that's another one that I don't have all their stuff and I haven't heard all of everything they've ever done, but it seems like everything I hear by them, I end up liking. So I always try to keep my eyes open for new Blackfoot albums I haven't heard before.
Yeah. I didn't put them in here. I didn't think about it, but I think they didn't start coming out until the late 70s. Because I remember that Train album.
Yeah.
That came out when I was working at the record store in 80. So, because I remember that album cover and everything. So,
yeah. Warrant goes on to do a cover of that song on their Cherry Pie album, which is pretty cool.
What song?
Train.
Oh, by Blackfoot.
Yeah.
That's a good song.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, so I was just talking about that BTO put out the original version of Rock and Roll Hell by Kiss.
Is that right? Yeah.
You know that, don't you, Chris?
Of course. Written
you
by
know everything.
Jim Valance and Bryan Adams.
Yeah. And that's the Canadian connection. That's why it was them. Black Oak, Arkansas, heck yeah.
Hot and nasty. Yeah, I love Black Oak.
You know, Black Oak does a cover of that song, If You Want to Be a Rock and Roll Star, Better da-da-da-da. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But that on that Nazareth album that I got, they do a cover of that song too. And I thought, wow, this song was really popular in the 70s.
Did you guys already do Humble Pie?
No, we didn't do anything. I was stalling here.
Well, the performance live at the Fillmore for me.
I mean, I guess if you're going to call them live albums, but live albums are like greatest hits. So, I mean, that kind of...
Otherwise, I guess Smokin'.
I'd be like saying Kiss's greatest album is Smashes, Thrashes, and Hits. It's got all their best songs on it.
And it's got Let's Put the X in Sex and You Make Me Rock.
And it's got You Make Me Rock Hard.
Paul Stanley on a trapeze. You can't beat that shit.
You guys are losing me on the list here. Come on.
Well, we're waiting on you to read something.
Well, this is why I waited for Chris to come back, because now we've
been doing this the whole time you've been gone.
Now, well, I didn't figure he wanted to miss this one. The next one is Thin Lizzy.
Never heard of them.
Yeah, a little band. I gotta hear more of them. Anyways, we got Thin Lizzy, self-titled, Shades of a Blue Orphanage, Vagabonds of the Western World, Nightlife, Fighting, Jailbreak, Johnny the Fox, Bad Reputation, and Black Rose.
Oh, God, they're all so good, except for the first three. First four aren't so great. Nightlife don't do it for me. I'm gonna go with Renegades.
That's the 80s.
Yeah, that wasn't in there.
Oh,
Renegade
that wasn't
was
a Renegade. Oh, okay. I thought you said Renegades.
81 actually, because
when Black Rose come on.
Black Rose was 78 or 79.
Oh, 79. So
yeah.
That was the last one.
So that was okay. So 70. That would have been after that.
So after Nightlife was
I like
Fighting, Jailbreak, Johnny the Fox, Bad Reputation, Black Rose.
Bad Reputation. Yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. It's hard to choose from them last ones because they're all so good. I know what Chris is going to pick, and it's not that, but
what am I going to pick? I'm curious.
You're going to go with Black Rose because that's your favorite.
Well, I would go with Black Rose because it's the most complete record of all those, but as far as the one I go back to the most, I would probably go to Nightlife.
Really?
Yeah, there's something. I love the jazzy, loungy feel of it.
I don't even like that one.
I go back to that one a lot, but Black Rose is the most complete record that they did. in my opinion.
I like Johnny the Fox too, and I think Fighting is really good. But I don't like Nightlife. I like the title track off that album, but I don't like any of the rest of it. And anything that really came before that, I'm not really a big fan of.
Nightlife is not, with the sound they got known for. Although Fighting was kind of my gateway album into them.
Fighting's a damn good album.
So like the title track, and then of course the cover of Rosalie from Bob Seger. Wow, look, Rock and Ron's got like a long lost friend here.
25 years.
You know this person?
Oh, Jason from Michigan.
You don't know him as that. You don't know him as that one itch.
My old roommate.
A
lifetime ago.
Oh, you've seen some things, my friend.
Yeah.
You lived with Rock and Ron Runyon and lived to tell the tale.
Wow.
Yeah.
Very cool. That's awesome.
Yeah, he could get me in trouble too.
Ron's old friend from the 70s.
Did Ron have the Freedom Rock look that he has tonight?
I think I had the ponytail.
He probably didn't recognize you until you put all that stuff on. Oh, hey, that's my old buddy Ron.
Black Rose, but Bad Reputation is probably the greater, as far as like heavier record.
Yeah, I like that.
He said, yep.
But I also think Johnny the Fox is underrated. Nobody really gives that one a lot of love, and I think there's a lot of good songs on that album.
I think that album's weaker than a lot of the stuff from the 70s, personally. But it's still a good record. But yeah, I don't know. Fighting, Jailbreak, and Black Rose, and Bad Reputation, those are all
Jailbreak's awesome too.
Amazing records.
Mm-hmm. Yep, all good stuff for the most part. All right, cool. What's next?
Well, so what's the right answer though, Ron? What is
Jailbreak?
Jailbreak. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Jailbreak.
I'm not
going to
argue that. Yeah, and a bunch of other good songs too.
Yeah, I mean, had Boys Are Back in Town and Jailbreak, so those are like the two ones that America knows.
I'm not going to argue with that. I'd never say no, you're wrong. That album sucks. So yeah.
Thank you, Yeah, Gary Moore. I mean, Gary Moore is probably the best guitar player they ever had in the band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although I do love
John Sykes.
I do love Robbo, and yeah, Sykes was good, but kind of a different band at that time.
Yeah, awesome. I love that one.
Yeah.
Thunder and Lightning. But we'll do that one next time. What's next, Ron?
All right.
Keep it moving.
God damn.
Now we're going back. The Who. So we got Who's Next, Quadrophenia, By Numbers, and Who Are You?
Who Are You?
Yeah, I guess Who Are You? I'm not like a massive Who fan.
I had to
some
go.
Of their stuff.
I had to go with Who's Next.
Yeah,
and that is a classic album. God,
I'm not an expert on the Who, so I can't really say.
Well, it's got Bob O'Reilly. Won't Get Fooled Again.
Is that the one where they're all
Behind Blue Eyes?
Okay, never mind. I'm changing it to that.
Yeah.
It's kind of hard to ignore those.
I forget because I'm not the giantest Who fan either. But is that the one where they're all peeing on the rock on the cover? Okay, yeah, that one.
A lot of love for Who's Next. Live at Leeds, yeah, Live at Leeds is great.
My dad had that album. It was like the paper bag cover, and I could never understand why all these other bands had really awesome album covers, and then that one had like kind of like the Muscle of Love cover, so brown paper bag plain.
Yeah. All right, how about ZZ Top?
Love it.
I already know my answer on this one.
All their best stuff definitely came out in the 70s, in my opinion.
Yeah.
We got first album, Rio Grande Mud.
Yeah, I love it all.
Tres Hombres, Fandango.
Yeah.
I don't know if you say Texas or Tejas.
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 And Deguelo.
I go with Fandango. That's my favorite ZZ Top record by far.
That is awesome, yeah.
It's half a live album.
It is, but
with some new tracks on it. But the new tracks that are on it are killer.
It's kind of like a live too. It was half live, and then the other side was new songs. So
right. I'm agree with everybody that's commenting. Tres Hombres.
That's yours.
It's my favorite.
Very good.
Yeah. But I love it
Have
all.
you-
I'm a huge fan of the first album too, and that was something I picked up probably a year or two ago, and was like, I've never heard any of these ZZ Top songs before, and they're all so good. But there's something cool about that first album because they're raw and they're not polished yet, and they're kind of inventing something on that album, and it's a good progression into what ZZ Top would become. But there's some really, really good stuff on that first album.
If you haven't checked out the Netflix documentary on them, it's really, really amazing.
I have. It's really good. Yeah.
Yeah.
I always felt bad because the ZZ Top I grew up with was in the 80s, and they were
me too.
super popular. But I mean, geez, you just can't compare to, take all the shit out of it, the 80s sound effects and the bad drums and all that, those songs, well-written songs. I wish they would have been done in the style of Fandango.
Yeah. Well, my first guitar teacher, I would be bringing it because like he was a guitar teacher where he was like, well, just bring in what you want to learn, bring in the songs you want to learn, and I'll teach them to you, because he was great at learning by ear. So I'm bringing him Faster Pussycat and fucking Motley Crue and stuff like that, and he hated Motley Crue. He would just be like, oh, Mick Mars, most overrated guitar player ever. Wow. But he loved ZZ Top, and like it was like every lesson devolved into him playing me ZZ Top riffs. So he was like he studied at the Church of Billy Gibbons, and he just would play Billy Gibbons, and like I didn't appreciate it at the time. I'm 12, and I'm like, no, I want to learn Motley Crue. But like listening to it back, like, god damn, like the ZZ Top, the riffs and the solos and stuff are just so damn good,
Yeah. If I had a request from ZZ Top, I think it would be, I'd love to hear an album that is where you take your songs from the 80s, but play them in the style of the 70s. Like a cover album of your own songs, like a tribute to yourself. Like, what if Legs would have been released in 1975? And what if Sharp Dressed Man would have came out in 76?
With the original production.
Wouldn't have done it.
With original style. Yeah. Get rid of all the weird sound effects, the fake ass drums, and really, basically simplify those songs and make them into classic ZZ Top era sounding songs. I'd love to hear them done in that style.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, listen to, Jesus Just Left Chicago, and
you love it.
All that stuff from the early, of course,
LaGrange, all that,
and all that stuff, like the
Tush.
The stuff is, it's just fucking timeless. You listen to it now, it still sounds amazing now if you listen to it.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I mean, say what you will, but you do got to hand it to both ZZ Top and I would put Aerosmith in there, that, 70s bands that completely changed their sound, but transitioned into the 80s and yet even got more popular through the 80s, sounding totally different from what they did in the 70s. And even though we're diehards and look at the 70s stuff of both of them, and that's the better stuff. But hell, they was two bands that overtook MTV and was constantly being played, and they was able to make that transition.
And a lot of these bands on this list weren't able to do that from the 70s to the 80s. I mean, for every Aerosmith and ZZ Top, there's, 100 Fog Hats and Grand Funk Railroads and all that never, I mean, they stuck around and they had enough of a fan base to survive, but they didn't thrive in the 80s like ZZ Top and Aerosmith did. Even Kiss didn't thrive in the 80s the way those bands did.
Well,
especially ZZ Top. I mean, Aerosmith even a little bit too, because they had kind of a slump, Heart, perfect example. They were amazing in the 70s, and I love Heart's stuff from the 70s. But when they get to a certain point in their career, I kind of drop off with Heart, but that's where everybody else got on, and that's where they went into superstardom, was the 80s. And I don't care nothing about the Heart from the 80s. That stuff is way too poppy for me. but from in the 70s back, and I don't know if you got Hard on this list, but one of the greatest bands of the 70s, in my opinion.
Yeah. All right. We'll go into. I picked DeGuello, by the way.
DeGuello. It's a good record.
DeGuello.
He's got cheap sunglasses.
Yeah.
A
lot of good stuff.
Bunch of good ones. And again, that came out in '79, and when I was working at the record store, that's kind of where I was introduced. So I played the shit out of that album and loved it, and then went back to that, and then of course they blew up in the '80s. But all right, this might be more in your wheelhouse. How about Scorpions?
70 Scorpions.
Yeah. We got Lonesome Crow, Fly to the Rainbow, In Trance, Virgin Killer, Taken by Force, and Love Drive.
Love Drive.
You gotta go with Love Drive.
The closer to the 80s you get with the Scorpions, the better you're going to be.
Yeah.
Love Drive, I think, is probably my favorite Scorpions album.
It's a great one.
Yeah.
Kevin Williams
And
Virgin Killer.
Virgin Killer's pretty awesome, too.
Virgin Killer's awesome, too.
In Trance. What was the one? What was the one with the monkey on the album cover on the plane? Which one was that?
Oh, that's In Trance, I think, isn't it?
No, it was a different. What was the second one you mentioned?
Or was it Fly to the Rainbow?
I think that's
Maybe
it.
it's
Yeah.
Fly to the Rainbow.
That's
Taken
like-
by Force.
Fly to the Rainbow is one of the weirdest album covers you'll ever see.
Pretty cool, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
of
got to
course,
be one of them Higposis things, right?
Hypnosis.
Love Drive had the gummy tits.
Oh, yeah. I love that.
Gummy tip.
What a crazy album cover.
No.
You ever look at that and wonder where the hell do these ideas for album covers come from, you know?
They had some weird album covers.
Yeah.
Well, funny
But yeah,
thing
I mean,
is,
that one's got to be one of the weirdest album covers of any band of any time.
Scorpions probably got the most banned album covers.
Yeah.
You know, where they had
Some of them for pretty good reason.
Yeah. Virgin Killer.
Yeah.
You know, the original on that was some preteen girl with the
What was the one where it's like the woman and the dog looking up at the guy's crotch?
Animal
the 80s.
Magnetism.
Animal
Yeah.
Magnetism. What a weird album cover that was.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's the
Lots
thing.
of drugs back then.
Yeah. I think that pretty much explains it.
We had to cut it off there because, you know, then the rest of them in the 80s. But yeah, of course, then they come out with Blackout and, you know, the ones in the 80s, and that's where they really hit their stride.
Why do I have a feeling Gummy Tits is going to live on
Yeah.
our
Gummy
live
Tits.
stream from
That's
now on?
going to be a hashtag now.
How's
Gummy
it going,
Tits.
Gummy Tits? Yeah, maybe it's a German thing.
It's a European thing. Yeah. We wouldn't understand.
They never did any scat porn covers, thankfully. This album,
Yeah,
shitty,
they just did
literally.
kitty porn. Okay, on to the next one. This was
How many of the 30 have we gone through, Ron?
We are on 13.
Oh, Jesus.
So we're almost
We
halfway.
got half an hour left to go. We're not even
right.
getting to Smash or
Bang 'em
Trash
out.
tonight. Not happening.
All right, we'll get into it here.
We should hurry up.
Foreigner. We got self-titled Foreigner, Double Vision, and Head Games.
Head games.
Head games.
I went with Double Vision.
Yeah. Double Vision's pretty badass, too.
Actually, all three of them are awesome.
Neil Mickey says
Yeah.
Gummy Tits. I'm just saying.
Here you go. Thank you, Neil.
Gummy Tits,
Ma-
great time.
Make it go viral.
Gummy Tits, that's the word this week.
Trend that.
All right, all right, let's move on.
All right. Aerosmith. We was just talking about Aerosmith, self-titled. Get Your Wings, Toys in the Attic, Rocks, Draw the Line, and Night in the Ruts.
It's Rocks.
Yeah, Rocks is the best record.
Perfect album.
I
all
agree. I agree, but I went with Toys in the Attic.
Toys in the Attic's hard to argue, too. If somebody said that's my favorite Aerosmith album, I'd say I can understand why. It's amazing.
Not
Yeah.
bad Rocks though.
No, Rocks is the best out of everything they ever did, I think.
Okay. this was brought up earlier, BTO. We got BTO 2, Not Fragile, 4-wheel drive, head on, freeway, street action, rock and roll nights.
Man, those guys were hot in the 70s. They were putting out a lot of stuff. I'm always partial to Not Fragile. My dad had it when I was a kid. That song, that title track is, God, one of my favorite riffs of all time. But I recently picked up 4-wheel drive, and it is a really good album too, where it's loaded top to bottom with really good songs. I just sentimental reasons I got to go with Not Fragile. Yeah.
I would go with Not Fragile.
Yeah, that's a 3-way tie.
1 and 2 is good also, and I still got to check out some of the other stuff that came out later than that, but it's another band I always keep my eyes open for.
Yeah, same here. Okay. Leonard Skinner.
Nice.
Freebird.
Street Survivors.
All right, we got Pronounced. Second Helping, Nothing Fancy, Give Me Back My Bullets, and Street Survivors.
Street Survivors.
Man, that's hard to pick. There's good stuff on all those albums. I used to hate Leonard Skinner when I was a kid, but it was because I only heard the hits. And then I started hearing some of the deeper cuts from Skinner going, wow, there's some really good stuff here. Man, I love Give Me Back My Bullets, but yeah, I'm going to stick with it. I'm going to stick with Give Me Back My Bullets.
I went ahead with the first one, Pronounced.
Really?
That's got great stuff on it too.
There's some great stuff on there, and not as much of the hits or the overplayed hits and that on there, but that's the thing. Leonard Skinner is too much of that stuff is overplayed.
Yeah,
but actually,
it's only a handful
of their
songs.
If you listen to it when you haven't listened to it a long time, I mean, even Freebird, you listen to it. I mean, fucking the guitar duel.
Oh, it's amazing.
At the end of that is awesome. It's just, it's overplayed, but it is still an awesome song.
Sure.
Anyways, here's a quirky one. Montrose. We got Montrose self-titled, Paper Money, Warner Brothers Presents, and Jump on It.
I'm not real familiar with Montrose. I know I got the album Paper Money, and I know there's some good stuff on that I like, so I guess I'll go with that.
Yeah, I'll go Paper Money, I guess. I'm not a big fan, though.
I went with the first one. It's got Rock Candy.
Yeah, I love that song.
Rock Candy's great. It's Bad Motor Scooter.
Bad Motor Scooter.
Yeah.
On that as well. That was a great debut album. All right. Pink Floyd. Adam Hart Mother, Medi, Obscured by Clouds, Dark Side of the Moon, Wish You Were Here, Animals, and The Wall.
Dark Side of the Moon.
Oh, man.
How do you not pick Dark Side of the Moon? I don't know. That's like an amazing record.
Yeah, it is an amazing album. But I kind of got a soft spot for Animals because I never heard that when I was younger. I heard Dark Side of the Moon. I heard The Wall. My Aunt Pam had The Wall. I listened to that all the time, and it tripped me out. I don't like the older stuff with Syd Barrett. But, man, that Animals album trips me out because it's, like 3 big, long songs?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Animals just because it's weird and I like it.
I got a special infinity for The Wall. So I
do too.
But I agree. I was turned on to Animals by an older friend that
you were turned on to Animals?
Was more into the Pink Floyd because I didn't know their older stuff. I knew from The Wall on basically. And so he said, you need to listen to Animals and stuff. And but
you just can't mess with Dark Side of the Moon either. Because that
Dark Side of the Moon,
pretty much an album you can put on and listen to all the way through and not skip nothing.
And make sure you watch The Wizard of Oz while you listen to it.
And eat mushrooms.
Well, actually, here in Denver, we used to go to, and maybe Jason will remember this, but we actually we had a planetarium that would do laser shows.
Yeah.
And we would go to these laser shows high out of our fucking mind. And they would do laser show, all different kinds, but they would do a Pink Floyd Dark Side of the Moon laser show where they just played the album through and through and would have the lasers up on the roof of the planetarium. And yeah, I don't know how we made it home from those few times.
Those things still tour, see the Pink Floyd laser light show, you still hear those.
Yeah, it's very rare. They don't do it here much anymore, but man, we used to love those when we were teenagers.
20 minutes, Ron. What's next?
I know. Going on here. We're in the home stretch. Okay, one of Aaron's favorites here. Queen. Queen 2, Sheer Heart Attack, Night at the Opera, Day at the Races, News of the World, and Jazz.
Man, they came out with a lot of albums in the 70s. Yeah. I don't know any of that, but I'm going to guess it's not jazz.
I think, no, jazz isn't that great.
No.
I would, if I was to take a guess, I would probably say The Debut.
No.
Is that their heaviest album?
Well,
hardest rocking?
Maybe.
Sheer Heart Attack, maybe?
No. Sheer Heart Attack would probably be the most up your alley. As far as like greatness of a full record, I think A Day at the Races would probably win.
I went with News of the World.
Oh, look at Joel Hoffman. News of the World I like a lot, though.
Yeah, that's another infinity I have because when I was in like fourth or fifth grade, my best friend would bring albums to school, and whatever albums he got, that's where I was introduced to Kiss because he brought Destroyer one day, and I seen that, and I was like, I gotta hear this. But another one he brought was News of the World. So I remember looking at the album cover with the robot, and
it's a great
they're
cover.
falling out of his hand or whatever. But it had
that album cover. I always thought, man, Queen, such cool album covers. Too bad the music don't match up.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, News of the World had We Will Rock You and We Are the Champions, and many more. That's when they started hitting their stride. Of course, that's another one that they became more popular in the 80s when The Game came out with Another One Bites the Dust, and that's when they really took off. But yeah, that classic Queen, you can't beat some of that. All right. Big hitter, AC/DC. This might be tough for you guys. High Voltage, Dirty Deeds, Done Dirt Cheap, Let There Be Rock, Power Age, and Highway to Hell.
Power Age,
for sure.
I knew you guys would say that. So I
love them all, though.
I went with Highway to Hell.
Yeah, I love every single one of those albums. That is 100% the AC/DC that I go to 99% of the time. Let There Be Rock is amazing. I could live with that in my car for a month and not get sick of it, but I mean, you just can't mess with Power Age. It's too good.
Right. It's their best album, in my opinion.
Too good.
I could do with any one of them for a month in my car.
Even High Voltage, I love everything on it, and man, you think about perfect albums where there's not a dud on the whole thing, and who has a better run of perfect albums than AC/DC in the 70s?
True.
I can't think of anybody. I mean, you can't even say that about Kiss. I don't know if Kiss ever put out a perfect album where there's not one clunker, at least one clunker on an album. Even the first one's got a love theme.
We'll get to that in a minute. But
Kissing Time.
Yeah, and all that. But AC/DC, they were putting out perfect albums in the 70s, and that's a hell of a run through the whole decade, for sure.
And unlike Alice Cooper, I think they're still putting out great albums. Love the last one. And they're not changing up any. They're sticking to the same formula.
Yeah, AC/DC never really followed trends. They just were. They just were. This is us. This is what it is.
Right.
And sometimes they're put down for that, but I actually applaud them for that because, stick to what you know and what works.
Yep.
Don't follow the trends. Anyways, okay, next, Bad Company. We got Bad Company, Straight Shooter, Run with the Pack, Burning Sky, and Desolation Angels.
All of them are good albums, especially the first two. But like we said on the last episode of the show, when we talked about best firsts, it's pretty hard to top the debut album from Bad Company because that's another stacked album that's got nothing but good songs on it. But the second one is kind of like that too. It's just not as well known. The hits weren't as big, but the songs definitely were as good. So kind of a toss up between the first two, but I mean, you just can't mess with the self-titled. It's so good.
I'd agree. I mean, Run with the Pack is a great one, but the first one has like all the big hits on it.
Yeah. And even Burning Sky's got some good stuff on it too, but they went downhill as they went. The albums got worse and worse.
Well, that's another one that they went all poppy in the 80s.
Yeah.
And did that.
Oh,
so,
I love that Brian Howe era stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah, No Smoke Without a Fire and, Walking on Holy Water. I love all that stuff.
I know you do.
It's good material.
Mr. Crazy Nights.
Night's Crazy, get it right.
Yeah.
That's still good, but yeah, you can't beat the original Bad Company. Anyways, here we go, guys. Now, Judas Priest. We got Rock-a-Rolla, Sad Wings of Destiny, Sin After Sin, Stained Class, Hellbent for Leather / Killing Machine.
It's all good. Stained Class.
Sin After Sin, still probably my favorite. It's the one I go to the most. It's probably not the best, but it's the one I go to the most.
I go to all of them, but Stained Class is definitely my favorite.
And I went with Sad Wings of Destiny.
Yeah, I love that too.
I just love that one. So.
Stained Class probably gets the most votes from most people.
Yeah. Because it's the best
All
album
right.
Priest ever came out with.
Here's the toughest one for you. Kiss. We got Kiss, Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, Destroyer, Rock and Roll Over, Love Gun, and Dynasty.
I really like all those albums.
It's like picking your favorite child, huh?
Yeah.
Rock and Roll Over for me.
Do the solo albums count?
Well,
Studio only, all 4 band members.
yep.
Okay. Shit, I don't know. This could change from moment to moment. Right now, I'm going to go with the debut, the first album. It's got all my favorite Kiss songs on it, but then again, I love Dynasty too. I love the fact that there's 3 Ace Frehley songs on Dynasty. Dynasty is always one of my top favorite Kiss albums, but I love Destroyer, even though I think it's a little overrated in the history of things. Rock and Roll Over is great. It's got some great songs on it, but also it's got some kind of, not so great songs on it. But they're all them Kiss albums are like that. I love Dress to Kill. I love Hotter Than Hell. I love it all.
What's not great on what is not great on Rock and Roll Over? Tell me.
Love them, Leave 'Em's not the greatest Kiss song.
Still a great song. I don't know.
I mean, it's still a Kiss song, but
Well, it is better than Ladies in Waiting is on Dress to Kill. So that
we're not talking 80s.
that takes it down a notch.
Dress
to
Ladies
Kill
in
is-
Waiting sucks.
yeah,
Dress to Kill is not 80s, it's 70s.
right.
No, he was saying Crazy Night, telling me to say Crazy Nights. No, we'll do another episode on that. But Rock and Roll Over is my favorite 70s Kiss record.
We might do this on 80s albums of most of the same bands. We'll see how people like it here.
We'll have a whole new crop of bands for the 80s.
Yeah, some of the ones from the 70s, but yeah, I was like, oh, there'd be a mile-long list here for the 80s of our favorite bands.
We could always do this and break it down year by year, too.
I like that song, Rock and Roll.
Your favorite album from 81 or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Music from the Smelter.
Chris just
14 minutes.
sighs.
Keep it rocking.
All right.
Ron.
We got Rush, Fly By Night, Caress of Steel, 2112, Farewell to Kings, and Hemispheres.
Man,
First
see how
album.
I love those first albums. 2112.
I'd say the first record, but that's me.
I had to go with the first two.
Nice. For once, Ron and I agree.
I
on
know.
something.
Yeah.
Like you said, the first one just rocks.
It's just hard for me
And-
though because they're so different, you know. And that first album, while it is the best Rush album, it's the best album Rush ever came out with, but it's not the best Rush album. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's hard to explain.
But I don't think the first Rush album, I wouldn't call that prog rock.
No, because it's
And-
just straight
No,
up
it's
rock.
hard.
It's
Rush-
amazing.
Rush pretty much went into prog rock
Yeah,
territory
but I like the early shit better.
on later on, and so I like the bare bones, just rocking.
Right.
All right, Rainbow,
Awesome.
the debut, Richie Blackmore's Rainbow, Rainbow Rising, Long Live Rock and Roll, and Down to Earth.
Long live rock and roll.
I'd go with Rainbow's Rising.
I agree with Chris. He gets the point.
What?
Rainbow
Wow.
Rising.
2 in a row.
Hard to pick though. Hard. To
Yeah. Yeah, because them first 3 are killer.
pick. Although Long Live Rock and Roll has Kill the King, which is one of the best.
Yeah.
songs ever.
It's got a bunch of good stuff on it.
All
And
right.
that title track. Awesome.
How about Mr. Ted Nugent? We got the Ted Nugent self-titled Free for All, Cat Scratch Fever, Weekend Warriors, and State of Shock.
Free for all.
Yeah, I would say Free for All.
Yeah. Free for all, definitely.
I was wavering on that, but I went ahead with the first one,
Wow.
the Ted Nugent self-title.
It's pretty good.
They're all good though.
Yeah.
And remember, folks, we only like Ted Nugent for his politics, not his music.
That's right.
Yeah.
And he's got some good songs too.
But his music's awesome, especially in the 70s.
I'm totally busting balls, believe me.
All right. I had to throw this one in, but how about the Ramones? We got the Ramones self-titled Leave Home, Rocket to Russia, and Road to Ruin.
Man, all those are great. But like I said, I got to go with that debut album. It's got all the good songs on it. The rest of them albums all have good songs on them, but the first one's got all the good songs on it.
This is
I go with
hard,
the debut.
See, Chris couldn't pick End of the Century because that came out in 80.
Yeah.
know.
What are you going to do now? No wall of sound here, buddy.
I guess I'd have to go with the first one, just because those songs are kind of the cornerstone of their career.
Yeah.
But I love
Pretty
it. I love
iconic.
everything from the 70s from them is great though.
Oh, yeah.
All right, how about Cheap Trick? We got Cheap Trick, In Color, Heaven Tonight, and Dream Police.
Dream Police. Yeah, I think so.
Heaven Tonight.
Heaven Tonight's awesome. Yeah, for sure. The first one's okay. I think it's a good start.
Yeah,
The rest of them albums are all killer, but I think my favorite is Dream Police.
Yeah, I like Love in Color and Heaven
In
Tonight.
Color's badass.
But yeah, my introduction to them was Dream Police, and I can still listen to that top to bottom to this day. That's an awesome fucking album. So
Yeah, it sucks. My introduction to Cheap Trick was the 80s. Ugh, I'm surprised they even like them.
The Flame.
All that garbage, man. Hated Cheap Trick in the 80s. Love them in the 70s. One of my favorite bands. I don't care nothing about them in the 80s.
I still liked them in the early 80s. All Shook Up, I think, is a great album.
You're a fan of the Doctor?
Ugh.
Of the what?
Yeah, exactly.
The Doctor, no.
Nobody knows that album, and if they do, they didn't want to.
The Doctor made me sick.
But that's the 80s where shit gets weird for Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
But
Stick in the 70s where they're awesome.
little short story. I've never had the chance to bring this up, but
It better be a short story. We got
it's
9
a short
minutes.
story. But I brought
Hurry up.
it. Quit pressuring me. God damn it.
Good night, everybody.
But I actually seen Cheap Trick at a club here in Denver. And it was a small little club. And we hung around afterwards. And they all came out afterwards and was just sitting and talking. And as much as I love Cheap Trick, I was most impressed with sitting down with Todd Horwath.
Oh yeah. From because he did the Gary Corbett role. For
he come out and he was sitting there, and of course, a bunch of people were all around Robin Zander and Rick Nielsen. And
so is this after Fraley's Comet or before?
Yeah,
after. Oh, right.
So I sat down and I was talking with Todd, and then realized, he tells me he was singing for Fraley's Comet back in the day. And so, of course, I had to pressure him for Ace Frehley stories. But I don't think he was too happy with Ace at that time.
Yeah.
So
here comes Rick Nielsen. Here comes Rick Nielsen and Robin Zander. Hey, what's going on, guys? Shh, I'm talking to Todd Horwath about Fraley's Comet. Keep it down.
I know all these other people were trying to talk to them, and nobody was talking to Todd. So I'm sitting there, I'm like, I want to hear Ace Frehley stories and stuff. So I was more impressed with Todd. But anyways, okay. Last two. We got Motorhead. Motorhead, self-titled, Overkill, Bomber, and On Parole.
Oh, man.
I'm going to go with Overkill on that one.
Yeah, I'd agree. I'd go with Overkill.
All right. Ding, ding, ding.
Bomber's pretty awesome too, though. But yeah, got to give the edge to Overkill.
I had to go with Overkill.
Early Motorhead.
Oh, yeah, they're all awesome.
Yeah.
All right. Last but not least, Aaron's favorite, Foghat.
I like Foghat.
We got Foghat, Rock and Roll, Energized, Rock and Roll Outlaws, Fool for the City, Night Shift, Stone Blue, and Boogie Motel.
Oh, man.
Fool for the City.
Yeah, Fool for the City is a great one. Energized.
Right,
Energized is really good. Yeah, that one also. I guess, Fool for the City, I think, maybe. But I'll be honest with you, there's some of them albums in that list that I've never heard.
Yeah.
Foghat's one that, like a lot of these bands we talked about today have such massive discographies that unless you're a huge fan that's been keeping up with them all along, odds are you haven't heard all their stuff. But whenever I go CD hunting, there's certain bands, Status Quo, Black Oak, Arkansas, bands like that I always keep my eyes open for because I want to learn more and hear more. And Foghat's one of those bands. They got a ton of albums. Out of the Blue's badass. I like all that stuff that I know of.
Yeah, I went with Fool for the City too.
Right on.
But
Trick.
I think the first one I heard of theirs was Boogie Motel.
Huh. See, I've never even heard that one.
I seem to remember that I did like that one, but then I had to go back and hear the older stuff. Because same as you guys, it wasn't till, well, of course, giving away my age, I was 12 in 1980. So that's kind of when you come into your discovering music, and not just the music that's played on the radio. Because, of course, the music played on the radio, it was Village People and Bee Gees and
all of Chris's favorite stuff. He'd fight hell to hold us, though.
Ambrosia, America.
Are you happy now? I gave you some laughter.
What about like Uriah Heep and Wishbone Ash? And we didn't talk about Grand Funk.
Yeah.
In the 70s. You got to love Styx in the 70s. We didn't talk about Blue Oyster Cult. What about Budgie? Chris, you better get on him about the Budgie. You didn't count them.
In for the Kill, Budgie. best album.
What about the Runaways? We didn't talk about them. Angel, Stars.
Angel? Was it Sinful? Best album.
Yeah. Ozark Mountain Daredevils. Where's the love in the 70s for the Ozark Mountain Daredevils?
In the Ozarks.
Oh, okay.
See,
But
you guys.
I think since Ron always likes to bust my balls when we talk about stuff on the show, and he's like, "Oh, you forgot Triumph, and you forgot this."
Where the
and
fuck
that.
is Triumph?
I made a list of bands I was
Triumph
certain
didn't
that you
put
would
out
forget.
enough. I think Triumph only put out like 2 albums before
Yeah.
80.
The Doors put out a couple of good albums in the 70s before Jim Morrison died. Paul McCartney and Wings, they did some good stuff in the 70s.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
So yeah, that was a pretty cool
I'm-
little trip down not so memory lane for me, but all the music that we learned about later in life, because we were
Right.
too young for it. And Ron, he was there back when they started banging rocks together to make music. So he was there to witness it all.
Tiny
when I was in my cave riding my dinosaur. Yeah. See, you guys give me shit for putting 30 of them together here, and
We just did it right on time.
we're running out of time, but hey, I went through it.
Tell him,
Well,
Mark,
okay.
how dare you leave out the Triumph, Ron?
All right,
Yes.
part 2.
All right. Awesome. So there you have it. We did it again. Another Friday night, Decibel Geek Friday Night Live. Chris, Rock and Ron, myself, having fun as always. We love doing this on Friday nights for you guys. We really like it a lot if you comment with us, and a bunch of you did tonight, and we appreciate it very much because it's fun when we just shoot the breeze between the three of us, but we really love it a lot. Yeah, Bob Marley. Don't forget Parliament Funkadelic, War, bunch of bands.
Hard rock from Bob Marley and Parliament.
I like those bands, damn it.
I like them too. I shared a link to Flashlight the other day.
It's a great song.
I love Parliament.
I want to do like a heavy metal band that does covers of Parliament Funkadelic songs.
There's great stuff there.
That'd be awesome.
Well, the viewers will have to let us know here how this went over and how it was for them taking a trip back to the 70s and that, and if maybe we want to do an 80s or something along them lines.
Yeah, we definitely
put-
can. We can
put something
expand
together.
upon this.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, guys,
So
this was a lot of fun
unfortunately,
once again.
We didn't get to the Smasher Trash, but Chris did say he only had 2 this week. So
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
and both of them suck, so don't worry.
Oh.
about it.
Okay, all
Well-
right. Well, we'll give you another week to back those
good
2
to
up
know
with a
now.
couple of good ones.
It was
Yeah.
terrible.
give
Don't
you
worry
next
about it.
week to get a couple of.
I'll try to get
couple
some
of good
better
ones.
shit for next week because it was bad this week. Trust me.
Right on. So there you have it. That's Friday Night Live, Decibel Geek Podcast, Decibel Geek TV. We got a new episode of the podcast coming out anytime now. It's kind of my fault. I'm sorry I delayed everything this week, but I got the audio. Let me edit it up real quick, and I'll get it out within the next couple of days. Chris, I'm sure, has released something for the Torpedo Dudes. Or not, whichever. But yeah, you can check us out. Check out Rock and Ron at Decibel Geek TV on the YouTube. Check us out wherever you get your fine podcasts. Look at Decibel Geek Podcast, and you can get in on it with us. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. Everybody that commented, everybody that got in on the conversation, we love it. We appreciate you guys very much. And we are out of time, so we will see you right here next Friday night.
And we do apologize that even though Chris was on top of it a lot more than me because I had my agenda tonight, but people were making comments all over the place. Why does he do that to me every time?
Because
He just does his outro and then I'm on.
Yeah.
Anyways, all right. Thanks to everybody for watching and commenting. And another Friday Night Live done and gone. Wish everybody a good week.
Bye.
Have a good one. See y'all. Out.
See you.